Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Will coming at you with another video, and today I wanted to talk about just how reliable has my BMW been over the last 30,000 miles. So as many of you know, I did a video maybe like 8 months ago at 20,000 miles, and I went over everything that had broken then and routine maintenance as well, and so it was a good amount of stuff, and I'll kind of cover some of that in this video. But if you want a more detailed view of all that stuff, go check out that video. Now, before we get into this is just over the time I have owned the car. So I guess I didn't make that clear enough in the last video. There were a few people that commented like, oh yeah, only $2,000 over 9 years. Yeah, right. Like, I'm like, I'm like, really? Like, are you really that dense that you think I'm out there trying to just push that? Like, that doesn't even make sense. But anyway, let's get right into this. So let's break this video into two sections. So the first one is going to be all the stuff that's failed in the last 10,000 miles since I did the previous video, and then after that we'll kind of gloss over the stuff that was before that. So I took a little bit of notes before, went through old videos, because pretty much everything's documented on YouTube, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any. So anyway, let's start with things that have actually failed, and you can kind of count some of these as routine maintenance. Well, tires, that's routine maintenance, but let's go ahead and these are tires that I replaced because I had a problem with the tire before and it failed prematurely, let's put it that way. So I've spent a lot on tires that have failed prematurely on that car. It might be because I was running bigger wheels than it was meant for, but several of the higher end models have 18-inch wheels, so I really don't think that the VMRs really had anything to do with that. Anyway, okay, so tires, a lot of money. I'm not even sure how much. I really couldn't even begin to, probably like $600-700, probably about that. So we can go with that. Now, my windshield, I had to replace that. It was so pitted, I couldn't see, my wipers weren't working, it was eating up wipers. I'd put wipers on and they'd be bad in like 3 or 4 months, so I had to do that. I got a windshield for right around $250. It was pretty good. It works with the rain sense and everything, so I'm very happy with that. It was a pretty good deal. My suspension, so I got upgraded to coilover, so this is going to be a little more expensive than perhaps it would be if you just replaced your shocks with the factory stuff. I'm not 100% sure on the cost on that, but I replaced my blown stock suspension that was in horrible condition with ST coilovers, and as you saw in my last video, as preparing to sell the 328, I removed the ST coilovers and sold them to my friend Eddie and put them on his car. So I no longer have those, but it was just under $1,000 to get them. I think it was closer to $900, and then I spent $250 to pay somebody to install them, only because my wheels were so over-torqued on the car that I couldn't get the wheels off in order to do it myself on the only day I had available to do it. So I did have to pay the labor on that, but I knew a guy who did it for $250 as opposed to a shop that might have charged $500, $600, $700. So it's about $1150 for that. Next is the oil filter housing gasket. Now I actually had to do this twice, and because I used a cheap gasket the first time that I got on FCP Euro, and I could have sent it back and got another cheap gasket, but I didn't want to do that, so I just ran over to the dealership, got myself an oil filter housing gasket for them for $40. So it would normally cost you $40 about to go to the dealership and get one. I wound up spending about $60 or so because I had to buy 2 gaskets. So I would recommend not buying the cheaper gaskets. I had a Victor Reinz gasket. I've had other people tell me they use Victor Reinz gaskets and they're fine. In fact, I'm pretty sure I used a Victor Reinz gasket on the transmission. I honestly can't remember anymore. I guess I could check my history at FCP Euro to figure that out. But it's been fine. It's not leaking. I've looked at it before. And it's been on there about 9,000 miles now, almost. So now the next one is a big one. So I had my radiator, it cracked, and spilled all its coolant in the parking deck at UNCC. I'll overlay some footage of that. It was a big mess. My mom really helped me out on that one and loaned me some money to get it fixed. So if you're watching this, Mom, thank you. So that's everything that's happened in the last roughly 10,000 miles, give or take a little bit. Since the last time I did a reliability video, that is everything that's happened. And so we have about a total of $600 for the radiator, $60 for the oil filter housing gasket, $1150 for the suspension, and $250 for the windshield, plus a lot for tires. So What does that come out to be? That's about 15. So that's $2,020 worth of stuff in 10,000 miles, or about 8 months. It's not cheap, and it would have been more, you know, but I do the work myself for the most part. I source my tires really well, so I don't spend a lot on them, and that tire number wasn't even included in that. So, you know, I found a good deal on having the suspension installed, but that's quite a bit of money there. But if you take out the radiator, it's been a thing. It's been a good car. That was a, you know, and things happen, so you can't really, you know, it could have happened to a Honda or whatever. So now going back to the previous 20,000 miles, just to kind of touch on those things. So I had the O2 sensor that went bad pretty much as soon as I got the car, and O2 sensors run about $120, but the dealership fixed it for me for free because it was, you know, they had a warranty on the car. The heat didn't work when I got the car, and the Honda dealership fixed it by flushing the heater core or something, is what they said. That's what they told me. I don't really know what that means entirely, to be honest with you. And they did it for a cost of what they said was $60. So, you know, BMW wanted to charge a whole lot more, and I talk about that more in the other video. The belt tensioner and pulley, I think the kit ran about $200. I did an air filter, and I have an AFE dry filter in it, and that ran me about $85. I did the diff fluid for about $20 in fluid. I did the transmission fluid and filter. I think that ran me about $120, $130 roughly. I replaced the battery for about $220, and I've had several oil changes done that came as a package when I bought the car. So I don't really know what they actually go for at the dealership. I think it says $65 on the receipt. I'm pretty sure that's what they charge for my car. I'll insert some text with the correct cost there. Anyway guys, if you like this video, please leave it a big thumbs up. This very well could be the last N52 video, at least with my N52. I'd love to feature other cars in the channel. If you have a nice, you know, N52 near here and you want to show it on the channel, feel free to get into contact with me. If you have a nice, you know, BMW in general or any car and you want to have it on the channel, just let me know, and we'll try to make something happen. Thank you guys so much for watching.